Hey everyone, Aussie Viking to do another video on Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now I've been watching a heaps ton of ultimate megally awesome gameplay footage of the Starfighter mode in Battlefront 2 coming from Gamescom. It makes me really want to play it because I got to see it. It's quite impressive what they're doing. It's really impressive. Sorry about that. My bad Scottish accent. Now I am part Scottish. My dad's Scottish, so anybody out there, please don't get angry because my bad Scottish. It's heritage. Anyway, let's talk about it. First of all, okay, so it doesn't look too dissimilar from the starfighting in Battlefront 1. Okay, so let me read that. Gameplay-wise, it looks completely different to an extent. But visually, it looks very similar to the Death Star and the Scarif DLC in the first game, which was acceptable, okay? The fighting in that was acceptable. The space fighting, dogfighting, acceptable. This one does look like it makes it better, but it adds more, so you got to, like in the first game, when you had the Star Destroyer, you had to destroy like the weird ball things on the top and take its shields down and destroy underneath. That was cool, and they've got that in here. But they've also changed it up by having, you got other ships, bigger ships coming in. They've added what happens in the Scarif DLC where you'll have bombers coming in to destroy, which is good. And then you've got to like destroy parts of a bigger ship. So the idea is, what I've gathered at least, is you've got a ship. Like, at least in this one, there's a shipyard, right? You got to go through the shipyard shields to get to the ship and destroy it and stuff like that. But what's cool is, so they haven't given us the ability to go out, to land into another hangar bay, get out and shoot stuff. Now, as cool as that would be, and it would add a lot of depth to it, I'm actually going to say, I get why they might not be doing it. Now, they could later on be like, oh, there is a game mode where it's very similar, where you can get out. Because for those that don't know, in the original Battlefront game, the space fighting worked better in offline than it did online, because online people could camp and just respawn. People could spawn on them in like similar ways, and just you could really glitch the game out, and that would totally happen in a game like this. And I can understand why they don't want to be like, all right, we don't want you to get out your ship and stuff like that, but they've definitely added a few things so we don't feel as destroyed by it. So in this, when you destroy, say, the shields, you can actually go inside a bigger ship, fly around, similar to how in Death Star you could go into the Death Star and go to the trench run. Something similar to that they've added in here, where it's like, okay, that's cool, and you can destroy stuff in there, and it's a very smart thing to do. Now, if they do give us if they do give us a mode about playing space fighting and stuff like that and getting out of our vehicles, it could come in DLC. It could even be a new game mode being worked on right now, for all we know. It could be in the game, they just haven't announced it yet. Or, now this is a big or, but for me personally, if they do not give us this in this game, even with all the DLC, if the full game of this game does not have it, and this is like includes maybe a year or two of DLC, that's fine, because we might get it in a Battlefront 3, because that's what they're doing. Every 2 years they've got a Battlefront game coming out. So hopefully that a third Battlefront game, which is, I know, looking to the future a bit too much, but I can say this. I think a third Battlefront game would be the creme de la creme of their Battlefront series. This looks amazing, but imagine it. It's like, alright, so what do we got? We've got all the Battlefront 2. Sweet, let's just port it over, because apparently they've got all the weapons scanned and stuff like that. So apparently putting everything over, because it's the same engine too, so they probably could put everything over and make it just ultimately awesome. Let's do something like that, and then we can make more content. Plus all the DLC stuff we could probably add into the next game too. Hopefully, I'm not saying they will, but if they do that, I am going to be one happy chappy. And I really feel like a third Battlefront game could be actually the best. I am hoping that the third, because they're doing it, they're coming out the same year as the Star Wars films, right? I'm really hoping that the next Star Wars film gets an extra year off. So imagine this, Battlefront 3. It's got 3 studios working on it, similar to how this one has 3 studios working on it. But instead of 2 years, it's 3 years. Could you imagine that? Battlefront 3, 3 years development time, and 3 studios working on it. We would have a huge game that would be on par, if not better, than the originals. Now, I gotta say this, Battlefront 2 already looks like it's going to be on par with the original Battlefront 2. But could you just imagine that? 3 years, 3 studios? I'm just saying. And then free DLC added on to that. You know, I want that. But let's go back to starfighting. So the starfighting looks good. Now, if I haven't played it, I really want to now. But I can tell from the E3 demo and stuff, the dogfighting and stuff definitely looks better. It looks faster. It looks better paced. It looks like it's a bit easier to move around. Because when I was playing the first Battlefront, when you're flying around, it can feel a bit stiff. This one, it looks like it's not going to be as stiff. It looks like it's going to be more smooth. And I love that, okay? I really love that. I love it how, you know, we got multiple things to do now. So when you want to destroy at the end, when you want to destroy that big destroyer, you've got to destroy the clamps, and you got to get everybody underneath and destroy the shield generator, I think, or the underbelly engine, or whatever, something like that. And I'm like, that's cool. That is awesome. Now, they haven't mentioned anything about going from ship to planet. A lot of people are saying that's probably not going to happen, and it's probably because of the engine not being able to do it. Now, here's the thing. On the PlayStation Portable, yes, the PlayStation Portable in 2009, there was a Battlefront game released on it. I was actually playing it yesterday. It's really good. Where you could indeed, yes, go from a map on the ground on a planet to space. Now, there was a cutscene, and I'm not going to lie, they could probably do that as well in a cutscene, but it would probably only work on skirmish more so than multiplayer, because all the crazy shit, like, oh, you got this, you got that, you've got the internet speed, the internet download, stuff like that. So I can understand them not wanting to do that, but I'm just going to say, like, EA or DICE, it shouldn't really be an impossibility to do that. Now, I'm not going to say this game's shit because of not having that. No. I'm not somebody that's going to hate this game because, oh, they haven't got shipboarding and they haven't got the ability to go from space to an online map on a planet and vice versa. I don't care, okay? I mean, I care, but I'm not going to go crazy if I don't get it in this game. Now, if the third one and they don't make much changes, I'm going to be annoyed, because when you make a sequel, you should make as much changes and much big changes as you can. Now, don't get me wrong, this game has a lot. You know, you got prequels, you got sequel trilogy. Well, there's not really much you could really do with a sequel trilogy, but still, you've got all that stuff. That is fantastic. But when it comes to, and like, they've even changed things like the dogfighting and how like the ships move, that's awesome. But in terms of changes in the gameplay, they haven't really made too much. They've basically taken the Death Star, what worked in the Death Star DLC and the Scarif DLC, mashed it together and made some slight variations from what I can tell. Now, again, I haven't played the game, and the game's not even finished yet, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. But either way, I'm definitely excited for it. I cannot wait for Battlefront 2. Like, oh man, when I get that beta, I really hope there's some sort of skirmish mode or offline mode as well in the beta, because apparently it had missions and stuff in the first Battlefront you could play, so they might do it here, because I'm not going to lie, those missions were actually really, really fun. You know, it actually felt like they took like a little scene from the films and just went bang, go for it. And that was awesome. But, you know, if I had to choose between missions and just a really big, giant skirmish mode, offline skirmish mode, I'm taking skirmish mode. Okay, I'm just going to say that right now. I'm taking skirmish mode. Yeah. Aye. Anyway, Aussie Viking out. I shall see you all in Valhalla. Bye.